Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NW Sportscast. The Mariners lost today, and unfortunately, that does mean that they have lost the series against the Baltimore Orioles. Today's final score, 6-3. Luke Raley had a really good day. He is my player of the game, as he goes 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. The game started off not great. The Orioles start Gunnar Henderson. Bottom of the first inning, home run off of George Kirby. They added on 2 more runs in the bottom of the first. It was 3-0 right off the bat. The Mariners had a chance in the second inning. Luis Urias, he knocked in an RBI single to score the aforementioned Raley, who had doubled earlier in the inning. And then with 2 on and 2 outs, Sebi Zavala flew out deep to the wall, but unfortunately it was caught by Austin Hayes, and that put the Mariners away in the second. So what was almost a take-the-lead 3-run bomb from Sebi turns out to be a fly-out the end of the inning. After that, the Mariners struggled to get anything going off of Corbin Burnes. George Kirby, he allowed a couple more runs. Despite Adley Rutschman being out of the lineup, Baltimore's offense is continuing to be very potent. They have a lot of good hitters in there. Colton Cowser, Jorge Mateo, even James McCann, the backup catcher, Cedric Mullins, Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle, of course, Henderson, Westberg, the list goes on. So, the Orioles, great offense. They ended up with a 5-1 lead. Then the Mariners, in the 7th, Corbin Burnes left the game. Streak stays alive, right? Mariners do not let pitchers pitch into the 7th. It's because they strike out so many guys, you know? But anyways, 7th inning, in comes the bullpen, and the Mariners, all of a sudden, they start to get something going, right? What do you know? Raley with another hit, Dylan Moore with a hit, and then Luis Urias, he checks on an RBI, so all of a sudden it's 5-2. Julio Rodriguez, he chalked in with an RBI as well. So the Mariners made it 5-3 as Urias going 2 for 4 with a nice little day, 2 for 4, with a run scored, 2 runs batted in, and a double. Dylan Moore went 0 for 2. Buddy also walked twice and scored. Julio going 2 for 4 as well. But that was it for the Mariners' offense. The Orioles tacked on 1 more in the 8th, made it 6-3. I believe that one was off of Austin Voth, former Oriole Austin Voth. And then the Mariners could not do anything against Yennier Cano in the 9th. And so, with that being said, the Mariners losing the final game of the 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. Tough way to go out. Nobody was terrible today. I mean, Julio got a hit. I will say, Rojas went 0 for 4, and we are beginning to see, I think, maybe the end of Rojas' hot streak, which I hate to say because he has been really, really fun. His batting average has now fallen to 301. So the days of Rojas hitting 350 are probably over. However, we did see this once before. We saw his batting average fall down to about 295. That was about 3 weeks ago, and then he raised it all the way back to 347, I think. So he could get hot again. I hope that he does. But as of now, he has been on a bit of a cold stretch. Urias, he seemed to break out of his cold stretch. That's obviously good to see. And Luke Raley, he raises his average now to 297. So Raley is almost the highest batting average on the team, which is crazy. Dylan Moore, he is now hitting 236 with an OPS almost up to 800. So Raley and Demo are both almost at 800 now, which is awesome. And they both have earned playing time right now. They both need to stay in the lineup. Julio, his batting average is now up to about 272. Good to see, despite the lack of power. And that's about what I have to say about the offense. I mean, it was fine. We scored 3 runs. We averaged 3 runs a game this series, right? 2 in the first, 4 in the second, and then 3 in game 3. So we averaging 3 runs per game. Pretty normal stuff from the Seattle Mariners. On the pitching side, George Kirby, yeah, he probably could have been better. But the Orioles have a tough lineup. I don't want to fault Kirby too much. He still made it through 6 innings. He gave the Mariners 6 strong innings, allowing 5 runs, and he did retire the side in the 5th and 6th. So he settled in towards the end of it after a rough start. And it's tough, to face the Orioles. They're a good team. A lot of people on Twitter yesterday were trying to say, oh, look, the Mariners are just as good as Baltimore. I don't think we are right now. And I think this game, combined with game one, kind of proves it. Like, yeah, we won a game, but the game that we won was a really close one-run win. The games that we lost by 7 and 3. So ultimately, it's a -9 run differential. So I do think the Orioles are a better team than us. That's okay, though. You know, you're allowed to lose a series to a team that's better than you. It's not the end of the world. It's only May. Now, if you lose a series to Baltimore in October, which, you know, right now we're both on track to be in the postseason, then it is bad, right? You don't want to lose a series to Baltimore in October because that means you're going home. But what that tells you is that we found some places, right? How can we get to a level where we can compete and be on the same plane as Baltimore? I'll tell you how. Go out on the trade deadline, trade for a bat, trade for 2 bats. But really, I think we need a middle-of-the-order thumper. And that's what Dipoto said. He said we need a thumper, right? Well, we still don't really have a thumper. Mitch Garver, not really. Polanco, is he? Demo and Rayleigh have been really good, but they are not the guy. Rojas is not the guy. Julio so far has not been the guy. And I know you're not allowed to criticize Julio, right? You're not allowed. I mean, he had a good game today. I'll give him that, 2 for 4. But he has a lot of singles. 2 home runs and I think like 5 or 6 doubles. Like, that's just not that much. He's not hitting for power. He's kind of turned into Luis Arias. Good, bad, I don't know. I mean, I would have been fine if we traded for Luis Arias. So in that, I mean, but we just don't have somebody who I can always count on as the guy. Like, yeah, Julio's hitting 300 over the past 10 games. That's great. He still only has like 15 RBIs on the season. So, like, gotta be better than that. And people, every time he gets a good hit, everyone posts the clutch Julio picture. Like, yeah, he's been clutch sometimes. But until he is towards the top of the leaderboard in RBI, he's hitting second in the lineup. I don't know. Is he really that clutch? I don't know. Seems to me like he hits a lot of singles. He had a nice RBI single today. But now his defense is good. I'll give him that. Julio, his defense is amazing. He really, really good on the base path, except for that he gets picked off like once a week, so that's not very good. But he steals a lot of bases. He's fast, great defense. He robbed a home run the other night. He's not a bad player. He just doesn't need to be benched. But I just think that, you know, the idea that he's beyond criticism is kind of silly because right now he is a criticizable player. And we need the guy. Does that mean Luis Robert? Does that mean... I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if we can trade... Can we trade for the guy mid-season? I'm not sure if we can. But if Julio can become the guy... And when I say the guy, I mean the guy who the lineup runs through. And there's... Not every team has it. Like, it's okay not to... But all the good teams do. Like, the Yankees have 2. Judge and Soto. The Dodgers have 3, right? Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. They're all the guy, right? Like, the Guardians, who've been really good, they have J-Ram. The Royals have Bobby Witt, who's been the guy this year. The Astros have got Kyle Tucker right now, who has been the guy for them. Yordan Alvarez as well. For Baltimore, it's Gunnar Henderson. And it's a bit of Adley Rutschman. It's a bit of Jordan Westbrook. But really, this year, it's been Gunnar Henderson. And so you start going through these lineups, you're like, yeah, every team that's good kind of seems to have somebody in their lineup who is consistently producing. And the Mariners, right now, we have a lot of really, really nice complementary players. Dylan Moore, Luke Rayleigh, Josh Rojas. I'm going to say Urias, even though the batting average is really bad, because Urias seems to always, you know, find ways to contribute. Canzone, throw him in there. Ty France you could throw in there. And then you could throw Sebi in there as well. But until... And Cal, I mean, I don't want to say Cal is a complimentary player. Cal is a bona fide, really good player. So he's not a compliment, but he's also not the guy. So we have about 7 really nice complementary players. We've got Cal, who is a really good 2 or 3, and Julio should be the guy. He should be that number 1 guy who is just, the lineup runs through him. If he can become that, then we don't necessarily need to find that from somewhere else. So that's my hope. And with the pitching staff, I'm not worried about Kirby at all. He does this like about once or twice a month. He'll have a bad game, and then he bounces back the next game. And my guess is next time we see George Kirby, I believe he pitches against the Nationals on Friday. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that when he pitches against the Nats on Friday, he's going to give us 7 innings of 1 run or less. Anyways, guys, I'm sure a lot of you will disagree with my maybe harsh take on Julio. I don't think I was being that harsh. I honestly don't think I'm being that harsh on him. Like, I don't think he's a bad player. I just right now we either need him to become the guy, or we need somebody else to become the guy to who can be that for us. Because right now he hasn't been, and I don't think that's a false statement. If you disagree, though, tell me why in the comments. I'm sure some of you will. Tell me why in the comments, and if you're being respectful, then I would love to engage in conversation because that's what I like to do. So, guys, this is the NW Sportscast. Ultimately, it is okay. The Mariners are still in first place despite dropping the series. We are 25-22. Look out for Houston, though. They are now only 4 games back at 21-26. So, we don't want to be complacent. We don't want to be stagnant. I would love to take 3 out of 4 in New York. My gut tells me it's probably not going to happen, but I think if we can split 2-2 in New York and then take the series in Washington, that will put us in a pretty good place heading into the end of May and into June. With that all being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. If you don't like what you see, leave a comment, tell us why, and we'll try to fix it so that you will subscribe to the channel, because we want you to subscribe, because we love talking to people about the Mariners, also about the Seahawks. Drew's going to have a video predicting the Seahawks schedule, so that should be a fun one as well. With that all being said, guys, this is the NW Sportscast. As always, go Mariners.